The year was 2083. Earth had changed. After decades of warming oceans, collapsed nations, and artificial evolution, humanity had found a fragile balance, a peace born from survival. Cities floated in the sky, powered by quantum energy. Most conflicts had been resolved through planetary treaties, but peace, as always, was temporary. When the Cytherian signal was first intercepted from the Kuiper Belt, the United Space Nations thought it was an encrypted burst from a long-lost probe. But within hours, 12 deep space listening stations across Earth and Mars went silent. Then came the dropships, black, silent, and fast, not like meteors, not like anything we'd ever seen. By the time the world understood what was happening, it was too late. The Cytherians were already on Earth. They didn't speak. They didn't negotiate. They hunted. They looked human mostly, but their skin shimmered in ripples of silver when touched by sunlight. Their eyes refracted like crystal, and beneath their flesh was living armor, liquid and unbreakable. They came in small groups, one per major continent, and they targeted Earth's best. Elite soldiers, scientists, strategists. It wasn't invasion, it was selection, and no one knew why. Major Jackson Merck, once a war hero, now a disillusioned defense consultant, had tried to leave the battlefield behind. He lived alone in a Martian desert colony, still haunted by the loss of his unit in the Europa uprising. But when his old commander showed up bleeding at his door with a Cytherian tracker embedded in her neck, Jackson had no choice. She said one thing before she died: "Find the Echo team, stop the hunt." Jackson returned to Earth under forged credentials, to a city once called Singapore, now a floating arcology known as Helix One. There he found Echo Team, a ragtag group of survivors who had all been marked by the Cytherians in some way. Dr. Lara Voss, a biogeneticist who studied alien neurosymbiosis. Torin Vega, a cybernetically enhanced former assassin. Sana Yilmaz, a resistance fighter from the drowned city of Istanbul, and Riven, a teenage boy who could sense when Cytherians were near and dream their thoughts. They were not soldiers. Not anymore. They were prey. The Cytherians were tracking them, studying them, learning from their moves. It was a game, and the prize was something darker than death. Jackson didn't want to be their leader, but he had the tactical mind they needed. He quickly realized the Cytherians weren't killing randomly. They were collecting combat data, testing the limits of human evolution. They were trying to breed or mimic us to become us. But why? During a mission to recover Cytherian tech in the frozen ruins of Alaska 9, Lara and Jackson were ambushed. Jackson was wounded. Lara dragged him into an old biodome as the Cytherian closed in. She managed to reprogram an old defense drone, but not before Jackson saw the alien up close. It looked like him. His own face staring back, only colder. Synthetic. Dead-eyed. Back at their hideout, Lara treated his wounds. As she stitched his shoulder, their emotional tension boiled over. They shared a moment. A kiss heavy with regret, buried desire, and the fear that they had no more tomorrows. Lara admitted she once studied with the very scientists who first received the Cytherian signal. "We thought we were making contact," she said, "but maybe we were just opening a door." They discovered the truth not long after. Riven had a vision of a Cytherian mothership buried beneath the oceans, deep in the Mariana Rift. Echo Team made a daring underwater assault, stealing a hybrid transport vessel and descending to a forgotten trench station, Deep Forge 13. There, they uncovered an ancient vault. Inside were rows of Cytherian birthing pods, filled with half-human, half-alien clones. Memories from the stolen minds of the hunted were being uploaded into these things. It wasn't just mimicry. It was replacement. The Cytherians were not conquerors. They were refugees from a dead galaxy, a species dying out due to cognitive collapse, lost empathy, fractured memory, terminal aggression. They were trying to evolve using humanity's consciousness. The hunt was a test, a harvest. An Echo Team was the final sample. But Lara found something else. She discovered that Jackson's DNA was part of a prototype project 10 years prior, Operation Siren. It had aimed to create adaptive soldiers who could resist alien neurological interference. The program had been shut down, but Jackson was proof it worked. That made him a weapon, or a key. But the Cythurians weren't the only enemy. Earth's unified command, in a bid to contain the threat, had deployed the Orion Protocol, a series of orbital weapons set to vaporize any region showing signs of alien infestation. Helix 1 was a target. The final mission came down to one chance. If Echo Team could get aboard the Cythurian mothership and inject Lara's countercode into their neural web, it would overwrite the clone programming, destabilize the entire hunt cycle, and shut it all down. But it had to be done from inside. Jackson volunteered. Lara refused at first. "You're more than what they made you," she said. "You're what you chose to become. Don't throw that away." "I'm not," Jackson replied. "I'm giving it a reason to matter." They kissed one last time. The infiltration was chaos. Torin and Sana fought off waves of semi-formed clones. Riven used his link to confuse the Cythurians' hive mind. Jackson reached the core and uploaded the virus, but the system fought back. He had to stay connected, holding the link while Lara escaped with the others. As the ship collapsed, a message pulsed through every Cythurian on Earth. "Hunt. Terminated. Cycle failed. Return. Null." The alien hunt was over. Echo Team emerged from the Pacific bruised and changed. The Orion Protocol was called off. The Cythurians, now mentally disconnected, turned feral and were contained. Earth survived. But Jackson didn't return, or so they thought. Months later, Lara visited the old biodome in Alaska. Snow fell gently outside. Inside, she activated an old drone. It lit up and a voice played back, Jackson's voice, somehow encoded in the ship's collapsing memory core. "Lara, if you're hearing this, I made my choice. I'd do it again. But if there's a way back, know that I'll find it. We're not done." "Not yet." Tears filled her eyes. She whispered, "I'll wait." Above her, the stars shimmered. Somewhere far beyond the edge of known space, a flicker of data pulsed in the void, a heartbeat inside the hunt. And it was human. The end.